Hello, Miranda. Thank you so much for including your work here. So I just want to take a look at your, I've read through this once, but I just want to kind of address things out loud here. So change the photo, that's cool, but I found the color scheme to work almost the same. Took me a little bit to figure out what I was going to. Color scheme's it's got to be spot on. I'll talk about that in a second because I noticed some color inconsistencies, and I don't know if that's a JPEG rendering or if it's indeed a different color. I'll talk about that in 1 second. For the timeline design, what I wanted to do was put something with the flowers, but I couldn't figure out. Switch to photographs. I found it repetitive. Yeah, I thought that was a neat idea, Miranda. I thought that was cool. I'll talk about that too. So the only thing I question is the color of my text in the timeline. It feels like it's a little difficult to read. I don't think it's the color of the text. I think it's the density of the typographic color. As we know, color and typographic color are two different things. If you're not clear on that, let me know. I'll clarify that, what the difference between color and typographic color is. The only thing I question is the color of my text. The other color scheme. Can't find one that looks well. Catch the updated color scheme. Yeah, all right. So the updated color, that's a gorgeous color scheme. Just gorgeous. Beautiful. Really nice job on that. And then we've got the layout over here. So I can't really zoom out and zoom in much being a JPEG, which that kind of blows, but that's okay. We'll do what we can here. I can do a system zoom, but you're not going to see it. So, boy, this is a tough one. That's about the best I can do. We'll make do. Okay, so I've got the cover up, right? And that was your last iteration of the cover. So I'm holding the cover right next to the back. I shouldn't call it a cover. I should call it the front of the poster, right? That's what it is. So I've got the front of the poster and back of the color. Look at the difference in the hue. The purple it's off. It's different. And like I said, I don't know if it's the way that the PDF and the JPEG are rendering colors. It's hard. It's difficult. There's no way for me to tell. I would have to look at both as a PDF or both as a JPEG, preferably PDFs. That way we can zoom in and zoom out as needed. Okay, as I said, I love this, and this is fantastic because this is almost identical to what we see here. So that is cool. Nice job there. And okay, so we're right aligned here, right? Which is okay for now, but I want to talk about that in a second. So let's go ahead and jump to the back of the poster. All right, so we have, so the first thing I want to talk about is the alignment. Okay, you're right aligned here, and I think that's to follow suit here in the right alignment here. The problem is the right alignment, you typically don't want to right align, rag left, extended periods of body copy, and I should say extended sections of body copy, I should say. And the reason being is because you're really risking that the viewer is not going to read through the whole piece. And here's the reason why. Because as the rag falls on the left, it's really easy with a flush. If as a rag falls to the right, with a flush left margin, it's really easy to go and find the next line of type. It's simple. You just go over here, you go to the next line of type, right? The rags on the right don't make any difference because when that line ends, you go and each new line starts at the exact same point in the left margin, right? Easy peasy. Now, the problem is when we right align rag left, now this is the flush side, which means the eye has to go and find these different areas. It's difficult. You're actually asking the viewer to do a little bit of work to go from here to go, instead of a flush left, you have this rag left where you have to find each of the next lines. By the time the viewer gets to the second paragraph, fourth line or so, their eyes are going to be fatigued from that extra work, and there's a good chance that they won't finish reading the selection. That's the main reason why we typically don't set type as flush right rag left. Now, I understand what you did is to follow suit here, which leaves us with a couple of different options. Number one, you can take this whole thing and bring it over to the right side and left align it, rag right, this whole thing, right? So it's all left aligned here. And then we can left align right here, rag right, right? That's an easy fix. Another option is you can just move this over a little bit, drop this to the first line here, and which will move it to the left a little bit, and then left align the subhead or the tagline, and then you can follow suit by left aligning rag right the body copy. Okay. Timeline, I'll talk about the timeline in a second, but you know what? I'll talk about the timeline now. So the timeline's a good idea. We've got this continuation here. However, we don't have color consistency. So I think the viewer might not be able to recognize this area as the timeline, this area in the garment. So because of the fact that the top of it's pink, the bottom of it's brown, the middle of it's yellow, where these are both presented in gray with the middle in yellow. So we're just not getting this exact kind of duplication here that we would need. So think about that. Of course, the problem therein is the fact that that's pink and the background is pink. So think about that. You may, well, I'll leave it to you. Like I said, I don't want to art direct, but I just want to bring up these things to your attention. You talked about the timeline. I think the timeline is too dense. I really do. I think that there's a lot of information here. Timeline should just be like bullet points. Okay, so for example, I'm going to do a system zoom here, which you won't see. But this says April 17th, Malala was appointed to UN Messenger of Peace to promote girls' education by United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres. That's a lot to say. I mean, I would say April, condense the heck out of that and all of these. I mean, like I said, it's just a synopsis of, okay, I'll zoom back out now. It's just a synopsis. You really want to edit these out so that they're really super manageable. You don't want to give too much information, just the main facts in the timeline. That will reduce the amount of text. It'll lighten the typographic color to the density associated with the bottom of the poster and the timeline, and it will probably make that area to appear a little bit more inviting. The center alignment, I don't think the center alignment's working because it's creating all of these really bizarre shapes. So they're almost like these diamond shapes that are coming together, but not all of them are. If they were all formatted like this, and that could possibly be a solution or an interesting addition is creating the text and using a text wrap to create the text to look like the top of that diamond. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? That's going to be a lot of work, and I'm just not even sure if it would work or not. So at that point, I would say to go ahead and left align these rag right, and that what that would entail is maybe bringing the timeline over a little bit. So if this was flush left, you could actually it should work just fine, just like this. So you could keep the marker right in the middle and just flush left this. If it feels like it's out of balance, take the whole timeline and shift it to the left so that it feels more in balance. The timeline does not have to be perfectly centered in the composition at all. So keep that in mind. But I definitely think that we could do something a little bit more appropriate, a little bit more interesting with the alignment of the timeline entries, as the center alignment just doesn't seem to be work based on the strange negative space that it creates. Like, kind of distracting almost. Like my eye just goes like this right through here. It almost even just misses. I'm seeing more negative space than I am text. So that could be problematic in the expeditious reading of the timeline. Okay, typography. Let's go and take a look. Okay. Good. Okay, we want old style figures. Okay, definitely want old style figures. Take a look at the tutorial video. If your typeface doesn't have access to OpenType capabilities to access old style figures, then just reduce the size a little bit. I explain it in the video. Be sure you take a look at that. What you'll do is reduce the numbers a little bit, the scale, just to bring them more in line with the X height of the, and see how they stick out. They just stick out like a sore thumb. So small caps there. Anywhere there's numerals, small caps. Old style figures, anywhere there's numbers. Okay. Good. Okay, good typeset. I'm not off the top of my head seeing, another thing I would recommend here in this timeline. It's just there's a lot here. There's a lot in this timeline. So you may even consider condensing it a little bit to not only the verbiage within each individual entry, but the number of entries. See if there's some things here that don't need to be included. Another thing I would do with the timeline is I would connect these lines. You could even just take connect the yellow all the way through. That's indicating that it's more of a timeline. Do you see what I'm saying? We want a connection here so the viewer immediately knows that all of these dates have a relation. They're all connected to one another. Okay, I think that's about all I have. Another thing that you may consider doing is dressing up the type a little bit. Maybe add a drop cap at the top there, just to like it. I think it would really be nice in pink too. In this pink, try it. See if you like it. Maybe even see how that works. See how it works out for you. But think about a drop cap. I'm not saying it's necessary. I'm saying it's worth exploring. Okay, that's about all I have. I've taken 11 minutes of your time. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it to be so winded here, but I want to be as thorough as possible. So at this point, questions, comments, concerns, or clarifications, please let me know, because it's really super important that everything I say here makes sense to you. Okay. All right. Looking forward to your next iteration. If you have any questions, get with me quickly. Okay, so we can address them before you start work on your final. The final rendering of the backside of the poster. All right, great job. Thank you very much.